I think as a concept, Fusion Social Learning Platform is the iPad of social learning, meaning the technology here is not radically new. It makes it the easiest possible way for the learner in this case to be able to access the learning that they need to make it easier than the person next to them. And I think for the training community, the big message around here, which is the LED community, is how it is integrated learning strategy. So first question is, well, why do we need to evolve the course? It's always been there. It's been pretty much there for 5,000 years. Why do we need to change it? It's because it's based on the assumption that our brains have the same ability to call like Rain Man.
How did you know my phone number?
How'd you know that?
You said read the telephone book last night. Dibs Sally, 4610192.
He remembers things, little things sometimes.
Very clever, boys. I'll be right back.
How'd you do that? How'd you do that?
I don't know.
You memorize the whole book?
No.
You start from the beginning?
Yeah.
How far'd you get?
G.
G?
G, God's sake. William Marsh, God's sake.
You memorized to G.
Yeah, G.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
G, half a G.
That's good, Ray.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, if our brains of our students have recall ability like Rain Man, then yeah, absolutely fine. If they can leave and the day after they've got 100% perfect recall, the week after 100% perfect recall, the month after 6 months. But obviously we know for a fact that brains don't have that perfect recall. We know that because Ebbinghaus taught 100 years ago that you forget 50% in an hour and 80% in a month if you don't actually use that knowledge. So when we look at, say, how does learning really happen, and you look at the analogy of how do you learn how to drive a car, well, we had some instruction, you did some, your lessons, but then you went practice, and then you probably had some tips, advice from your mum, your dad, your coach, your brother, or someone like that nature, and then you became competent at it. You don't leave the course and become 100% competent. So what's really exciting about Fusion Social Learning Platform for the LED community is that, say that trainer has the best perfect explanation, it's absolutely brilliant. And he might have 20 explanations absolutely brilliant, but a month later, irrespective of how great those explanations are, the actual student can't remember them. So the really exciting thing about Fusion Social Learning Platform for this is not to eliminate the courses, but to amplify and expand the impact of those courses. So that the trainer who's got the brilliant explanation, it means instead of having like the knowledge decaying like a stone going into a pond and the ripples dying out over time, if a student wants to go back to it a month later as they're doing the job, then that's absolutely brilliant, right? So, which then comes into mind, okay, well, therefore, how do we design a course? With this technology now there, and the ability to amplify the course, it means we design the actual course differently. So instead of designing the course so it's just one big lump, we actually think about which components of the course need to be accessed or would like to be accessed by the students afterwards. We make sure they stand alone as separate movies. And those movies can then be searched at point of need. So we don't have the decaying, and in fact, we're amplifying the effect of that training delivery. So then the question comes, when do you use this technology? Well, the first point says actually when time's an issue. So when you can't get access to a subject matter expert for half a day or 2 days or a period of a month, when you only get access them for 10, 15 minutes, then this technology is great. So capture that knowledge and then distribute it. And also the knowledge needs to go out there. Within a week, you've got a new product launch in a retail store. If you could take the top sales guy who's selling that new product in the best possible way, capture the magic of what that salesperson does that same day, and distribute that out to the other 5,000 salespeople, then what an impact that has. The traditional method of saying, okay, let's go and find the knowledge of the course, let's go and build the course over 3 months. By the time you've done that, you've missed the competitive window. So the old way of designing learning is design the 10% of the course, and don't worry about how actually that gets then applied on the point of need. Obviously, the new way of doing this is to take 100% perspective on it, look at learning as a process rather than as an event, and how do we tie these components in together. And we want to get the explanation from the best expert directly, actually, because there's a lot of trust that comes out. If you're hearing the chief executive say a message, or the engineer who's created the product say a message, you're a lot more likely to believe the raw message of the expert. So I've given them the tool to be able to communicate directly out to the people that want to hear them. And when you think it's important that the learner is able to actually search and find the learning afterwards. So if you think that's important, then that's appropriate. And when you think it's important to reward the person who's delivering that knowledge, so whether that's the subject matter expert or whether that's the trainer who's got the best ever explanation on it, If you think it's actually viable for them to be rewarded and seen as helping the organisation, then the concept here of social equity allows them to do so. So if that's important, then this tool is appropriate. What's really, really exciting about this is if you could actually go directly to the expert, extracting out the magic that they do, and then delivering that out to the rest of the organisation, what a transformation that makes an organisation, and what an effect the L&D department has on the business overall.